Good morning. How's everyone? Good. We are going to do our update. Thank you for being patient. We didn't do one last month. It's been a very, very crazy month. If you didn't know, we had a board meeting to discuss our next year's budget with the board of directors. You'll find out the results of that meeting in September. I know it's not fair, but that's where we're going with it. For questions, you know how to ask those, jkvlive.com. Calls at 386-456-1558 or text messages 386-507-4236. We do Val for a particular reason. One of the reasons is hurricane season, where we like to push out updates in regards to if we have problems with a water main breaking, or if we have hurricane season, we push this information out to you. One of the questions that I was asked was the use of walkie-talkies. And we use, as John Knox, during a storm, if you've seen us, many of us, when we declare it as an emergency, all directors, most managers, and a number of staff, we divide ourselves into 3 teams: pre, during, post-storm. So that's how we do that. We have people that come and prepare for the storm. Some of them will stay, some of them will go home. Then we have people that hunker down during the storm, and then we have people that come in afterwards and do cleanup. That's how we divide our teams. We happen to be a team. When the team is here, you'll see most, if not all, the directors will carry a walkie-talkie. We share information so we can respond quickly, and everybody is on that frequency. So how do we communicate? We actually communicate a couple of different ways. First, we use walkie-talkie. Second, we have cell phone. And one of the apps that we use on our cell phone is a WhatsApp. That way, when I send out a text message, I can send it out to 30 people all at one time, and they get it. The funny thing about that is when they all decide they want to respond, and they hit OK, then I get 30 responses back to a message I wasn't expecting to. But that's a different problem, and that's a fun problem to have. So when we prepare for storms, we prepare in a number of different ways, and our communication has been pretty good during the storms. And we want to make sure that you're aware. If you're new, you're aware of the VAL, and it's the Village Alert Line. We also have that for employees. Occupancy. Occupancy is kind of, independent living is up slightly, and I can tell you why. I don't mean to be morbid, but we've had as many attrites as we've had people move in, and we've had a number of people move in. We're at 81% occupied, and we also talk about what is sold. That means we have a 10% deposit on future residents moving in, and that is 84. Cottages, 261 out of 299. We have those 12 units that are still out of service that were from last year on Floribunda. Our thought is right now we do plan on putting 10 of those back, and 2 others are questionable. We haven't decided what we're going to do with those, or if we do, what do we do with that space. We have 8 additional deposits on the cottages, apartments, 62 out of 100. Where we can, we will consolidate to make the apartments a little bit bigger. That is the feedback that we receive from people that shop and are looking at our apartments. They'd like the apartments to be a little bit bigger. We know the sweet spot is about, for an apartment, is anywhere from 12 to 1,400 square feet. And that is about the same. It actually comes out to be about the same for a cottage. Villas, 70 out of 74 with 3 additional deposits. Those are Silverstones, and that is Holly Branch when we refer to as villas. And once we do our fill on Valencia Landing, we will roll them into villas also, but we currently count those separate. Valencia Landing, 38 out of 60 for 63%. We have 2 additional deposits. Oakview Suites, 36 out of 49. And Majestic Oaks, 110 out of 120. I'm not sure I put this in my update, but Oakview Suites, one of the things we plan on doing at Oakview Suites, we have a project. We plan on putting a Wonder Guard system on Oakview Suites. The reason we plan on doing that is we've decided to start offering a memory product at the assisted living level. What is a WonderGuard system, Joe? WonderGuard system is for some people that have dementia, have memory issues, and they have a tendency to wander. We all know about Alzheimer's. We all know about dementia and sundowners. People have a tendency to wander. And we want them to wander because that keeps them mentally active, but we want it to be a safe environment. As they would approach an outside door, they would have a wristband or ankle band in some particular cases, and as they approach the door, that door locks and secures so they can't get out. Right now we use a keypad system, and it's mostly for employees to be able to let residents out, but there are some other residents that, quite honestly, can, even in assisted living level, still drive if they really wanted to. So there's a full range, but we offer a dementia product, a memory care product, if you will, at Majestic Oaks, and that unit is 45 beds, but we're also going to start exploring that in assisted living. The hopes is that we can get some of our own residents to move into assisted living to take advantage of the care that's delivered there. So you'll hear more about that. That project has been approved. I know they're in the process of ordering the equipment, or the equipment has been ordered, and as that gets put in place, we will share that. So hopefully we're hoping in the next 30, 60 days we're able to share that system is in place. What does that mean for you as being a visitor? That means you as being a visitor, please, if you don't know somebody who's coming behind you and you're going through assisted living, don't let them out the door. Because once that door is open, even though they may approach, it's not going to lock, it's not going to do anything. So it's a different program, and we'll provide additional education as we go down the road. Valencia Landing. We're waiting for last little bit of sod to be delivered on the 28th, and then we have a site inspection by management. The site inspection is by us, not by the city, not by anybody else. We want to be able to go through and want to make sure that everything is the way it was supposed to be. Everything is done. Backyards are cleaned up. Everything is trimmed the way it's supposed to be, and everything is in place. So when I say site inspection, I'm not talking about some third party. I'm talking about ours. We'd like to do that before, obviously, we make the final payment. That's so we're just waiting on the sod. We will probably start doing our site inspections starting next week. So we can go through and we can finalize other little items that we need to do. Dining update. Stan here, he's probably gonna, no, he's not. So he'll catch up with me. There are gonna be some changes. As you know, we have a dish machine project. We're replacing the dish machine at the Crane's dining room. That is not an inexpensive project. That's about a $200,000 project just to replace that dish machine. See, he shows up. Just on cue, doesn't he? So what we have decided to do is we've decided to close the Crane's dining room to be able to take advantage of other items. The big item is right now, remember, this is a projected date. These are projected date. I'm not going to say it's going to be rock solid September 11th. That's what the date. But these are projected, and we feel pretty good about those. A portable dishwasher will be delivered and set up on September 6th. The dishwasher will be set up in the parking lot in the center building. And it's just going to be, it looks like a small camper is what it looks like. And that's going to be right outside the Oakview 200 dining room. These are the hours for the venues. Bay Dining Room, as you know, just opened on Tuesday. They're going to be 12 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 12 to 7. Oak Tree Grill, Sunday 8 to 5, and we may have a nice little surprise. We're working on that. And Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7. Valencia Landing, seating will be 12, 2, and 4. Monday through Saturday is 12 through 7. So Valencia Landing will open up 7 days. Will open up 7 days a week for you. Sunday will be a special seating time, and you will ask that you'll call and you make. If you can, make a reservation or show up about that time. One of the things that we're doing, We've received some feedback in regards to this, is extending the hours that we have at the grill. That we're looking to see if extending it from 5 to 7 on Sunday, because we're hearing a lot of you don't like to cook Sunday evening. I'm the same way. Sunday evening, no. So we're looking at extending that, and so as we work things out, we will do that. I know one of the questions that I was asked is, are we not able to do all the things that we've done in the past because of staffing? No, staffing while we still struggle in a couple of positions for dining services staffing, we have done very, very well in recruiting people for dining services, especially the servers. I'm going to share this number with you, and the reason we know it is because we worked on the budget. We have 73 dining services staff members that are below $15 an hour. I didn't know we had 73 dining servers, but we have 73 people that are below $15 an hour. That doesn't include the people that are above $15 an hour. So we have a pretty good complement of dining staff to now meet our needs as we continue to move forward. So we're not using the excuse that we're going to not do this because we don't have the staff. Some of that is just a reallocation of personnel to be able to do that. I have a lot of faith in Stan and his team to be able to do so. So we're reviewing, I'm not promising, we're reviewing extending the hours for the grill on Sunday. That would be only on Sunday, and that would be potentially to 7. Curbside will remain being served out of the Crane's kitchen, as will Oakview Suites. The residents in assisted living are served out of the Crane's dining room. Those dishes obviously will go down to the portable dishwasher. The menu at Valencia will consist of menu items for both the Cranes and Valencia, so we're going to kind of change that menu up a little bit. We've heard what people said, we've heard people say I can't afford to eat at Valencia. So we're going to put some other items on there that are lower cost so you can enjoy Valencia. The menu in Bay will consist of menu items from both Cranes and Bay. For this time, as we're doing this, soup to take home and salads, take-home soup and salads will not be offered at Valencia. So if you go to Valencia and you're going to say, hey, I want my soup to go, we're not going to allow that at this particular time. We don't want to cause confusion for staff. We don't want to, that is a whole different bone of contention. And why we're not going to get into it, if you want to go to Bay and you want to get your soup to go, you're certainly welcome to do so. Soiled dishes from the grill, Oakview Suites, will be prepped and transported to the mobile dishwasher and returned. And because of the change at Valencia, transportation will remain, will go until 8 p.m. On the evenings that Valencia is open, to be able to accommodate that. Now, this will all come out to you in the form of a note, and we will put this out in a val. So if you didn't take notes or not taking notes, we will send it out to you. There was something else here I wanted to look at, and it escapes me so. Water mitigation. I can share with you, I had a long conversation with the city of Orange City. Some of I can include, some of it I cannot. They were very forthcoming. We have applied with the city of Orange City, we have applied for a hazard mitigation grant to take care of our water issue down at Floribunda. That has gone to the county of Volusia and ultimately ends up going to FEMA. Orange City has requested somewhere in the billions of dollars to help take care of the water issue. The water issue by us isn't the only problem that they have. They have a number of issues throughout Orange City, and they're being as aggressive as they possibly can. But anytime you work with the federal government, you know it's a hurry up and wait. You have to hurry up and get your stuff done, and then you have to wait for them to make a decision. So we're waiting for the review. We, again, were included. We asked to be included in on that grant money, and we were. As far as the other things, an executive committee improved the investigation of extending a dry pond on our property along Veterans Memorial. It would be, if you know where Majestic Oaks is, as you're going out the front gate, there's a little pond right there. And we normally pump a lot of water there. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gallons of water that we pump there. And eventually it will seep through and it'll get down to the aquifer. We've identified that as a good spot. Just beyond that is where maintenance and housekeeping, and there is a nice little ditch that, I'm calling it a ditch, when it's much, much bigger, that we're investigating to see if we can convert that to a dry pond. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. What I am saying is we're investigating that because we've identified that as a really neat area to be able to take care of our water issues. And the board has allowed us to do this as quickly as we possibly can get it done, and if we can make that happen. Now, it is an expensive proposition, and should it work, we believe that it would take care of, if we would have had a storm like Ian, that would have taken care of about 100% of our water issues. Now, that's us spitballing on the size, and it would be a rather big pond. Now, there's a lot of work that has to be done, and a lot of heavy lifting that needs to be done before we can even move a shovel full of dirt to be able to do anything else. And as you have noticed, we have already put a pump on the pond. Our rain totals are higher than they normally are. If you want to call it good news, is it's hot and it's drying. It's evaporating just as quickly as it's coming down. This is just a really quick informational update. Assisted living, Angie Watkins, she was the assisted living administrator. We thought she was doing a phenomenal job, and she was. She has resigned her position. I share that because anytime we have a manager level position move, we want to make sure that we share that with you. And I believe we already have a replacement that we're waiting for a start date for her. So we've interviewed, and they have somebody they've identified and extended an offer to. Office of Insurance Regulation Examination. I know you're probably tired of hearing about this, and I'm tired of talking about this, so this will be the last time that I talk about it. They have finally finished their examination. Their examination covered 9 years. 9 years. Typically, they're supposed to do an examination every 3 years, but it covered 9 years. And we ended up with one finding. The finding was that the dates that we had for our resident quarterly meetings didn't match the dates that we put on our annual OIR report. There's a line for that. So in 2018, 2019, those dates didn't match. Why didn't those dates match? Well, in 2018, we had a temporary CFO who completed the report and just, I believe, randomly picked some dates. You know the dates. They're pretty easy. It is always the third Tuesday of the month. It's January, March, June, it's March, June, October, December. September, December, I don't even remember them. I'm mixing them up with board meetings because I have more board meetings then. But that was the only finding. To say for Office of Insurance Regulation to look back 9 years and that was the only thing they had is an outstanding examination. We're thrilled by that, and all things being considered, we'll take it. We'll take it. The recycling programs. We have talked about this. I've looked at this in a number of different ways. One of your peers has a son. Has a son that works in recycling. I had a meeting with him. What a source of information, great source of information. Bottom line comes, and I want to be careful saying this, we are going to continue our recycling program because the option is not a good one. If we don't recycle, we can get up to a $500 fine per occurrence regarding that. Now, why am I careful? Because I know this now gets posted to YouTube and anybody can watch it. So, but we will be continuing our recycling programs. As we retool those, we will push out more information. Roofing contractor, we are in negotiations with the top 3 roofing contractors to get that project. We hope to get that project started soon. I have asked for that project to be completed. First completion date would be by the end of the year. I'd love for that to happen, but then no later than January 31st of 24. Strobes, we ask that you please check to ensure your strobes are operational. Everybody should have those, even apartment residents. We understand that some of the strobes may have not had batteries in them, if that is the case. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to test it so you know how to turn it on. If you don't know how to turn it on, please let us know, and we will do a little instructional session on how to turn that on. We want to repeat offering a discount on entrance fees for a few cottages. Those are special cottages that we're doing. And then we offer a military discount on entrance fees up to $40,000, and that is new sales. Now, I know last time I said this, we started getting calls from people that were residents saying, where's my 10% discount? All right, I'd love to do that, I just can't. It is, one, it's new sales, and then it is not on monthly service fees, it is only the entrance fee, and it's up to $40,000. And I'm happy to say that Fountain Lake is finally up and running. Yay is right, I hear you. Clubhouse. This is in regards to the noise at the Valencia Landing. We just talked about, now we're going to be opening that dining room at the Valencia Landing 7 days a week. You get a bunch of people in there, it gets noisy. We're aware of that. And we're aware that the more people you put in there, the noisier it gets. So our plan is to put acoustic tiles on the ceiling. That is, most of it is windows, so you can't put acoustic tiles on the windows. It's got a hard floor, so everything just kind of becomes a sound chamber, especially in the area where you have the tin roof in place. So we're going to be putting acoustic tiles very similar to what we used in the yoga. Now, when I say similar, I only mean by design, not by color. We won't be using those. We thought the bright colors in the yoga and dance studios actually looked pretty good. We won't be putting those bright colors on the ceiling in Valencia. We're working with a designer to pick some interesting designs for those panels. So as we move forward, we'll get those in place. The estimated cost of that project is about $10,000. And it can go up or down depending on the design that we pick. But we're working, I want to let you know that we're working on that, and we're trying to get that done as quickly as possible. If we can get it done before September 11th, we certainly will. But it's not going to stop us if we don't. Sentrics. Yeah. Some days. All right. Update on Sentrics. The new head end has been installed. It is designed to improve the signal to homes with updated technology. It is technology that probably a number of cable companies have been using and they've done away with. What does that do? That causes an issue for people on their secondary TVs. Just their secondary TVs. And I'm going to try to go through this because other people at home are going to listen to this. I want you to think about the total number of TVs you have. I'm going to use the number 5. Only one of those TVs is connected to the E-hub. So how many secondary TVs do you have? 4. Now, for those secondary TVs, we need to know the manufacture date of those TVs. Now, I will tell you, it is a complete spitball. We picked a date, and we're using 2015, but I need the date of the manufacturer of your TV. Because your TV after a certain year will automatically reprogram. And you won't need that secondary DTA box you currently have on any secondary TVs. Why is that important? Well, with this head end, that DTA box won't work. It needs to be updated. Option 1 is if your TV can program, your TV will accept the signal and update automatically. The second part of that, if it does not, it needs an updated DTA box. So we want to know, we're kind of spitballing, so we can go back to Sentrics and say, hey, we need 200 new DTA boxes that are updated. Right now, we have no idea what that number is, but it's only based secondary TVs. So all your TVs are 2015 or newer. That's good information for us because we won't include an update DTA box for your TV because we believe it will probably automatically update. Now, I'm not going to confuse you with any more detail in regards to that, so we're going to stick to it. I have 5 TVs, one's connected to eHub, I have 4. Now, 4 secondary TVs. How many remotes do you have to those TVs? Do you have the original remote? And I'm sure somewhere in a bedroom drawer, closet, box, you have that original remote. We need to know that you have that original remote too. So, manufacturer dates of TV, how many TVs do you have? Subtract 1 from the eHub. Manufacturer dates of those 4 TVs, and then do you have the original remotes? And say, yes, you have 4. We plan on sending a survey out by Friday. It could be as early as tomorrow. We're going to send it out into Village Life. We're going to give you 1 week. One of the common questions is, Joe, my TV's mounted. I can't get up back there and look at it, and we don't want you to. Let us know, and maintenance will come by and look up the manufacturer sticker on the back of your TV. Fair enough? Now, if you see me in kind of casual clothes next week with a ladder running from unit to unit, that means I'm looking up to find out what the manufacturer date on TVs is. Fair enough? Now, I know that's as clear as mud. The last thing I need is we need your address. We are going to ask you when we have new survey software. We discussed this at the resident council meeting. We do have the ability to flip a switch, a toggle, and find out who's sending us emails or what unit you're in, or who's sending us emails. But what we need to know is we need to know your address. So be specific on your address. So my address is 101 North Lake. That's the address I would put. Be specific about your address. Fair enough? Now, we will try to send out, and we will send out instructions. Instructions come out with the survey. We will post that. If you don't have access to the portal, that's fine. We will have written copies of the survey at administration for you. And really, we plan on sending it out with the Village Weekly. So if you missed your Village Weekly, you can always get a copy. But please don't, we need the address because we'll only be taking 1 per address. Scams. Some of you have been very busy in sending me information about potential scams. And it's never too frequent to cover this information. Mine recently was my ATM card. Now I only use my ATM card for 1 item, and that is solely to get cash. That's the only thing I use it for. So once a month, once every 2 months, I use my ATM to get cash. And all of a sudden I see a charge come across using my ATM. And it was the last couple of times I've been scammed on my credit card and my ATM have been from Canada. They're charges in Canada. Now, a number of things you're going to do. I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to talk about this and go through this order. There's a lot of things you can do. Last thing you want to do is somebody who can get your ID. If you didn't know, they have a thing called the dark web. If you go into the dark web for a small price, $200, you can buy confidential information on about 2,000 people. Now, name, address, social security number, credit card numbers, whatever that case may be, they can get that information on you. So if you don't think it's out there, think again. If you think it's not going to happen to you, think again. It's not a question of if it's going to happen to you, it's when it happens to you, because it will. Please be prepared, because I thought, I'm about as anonymous as they can get. I'm not on social media. I don't have a Twitter account. I don't have an Instagram account. You couldn't find me. You can't even Google me and find me. But little did I know that as soon as I make a bank charge or use a credit card, that information gets pumped out there. So there are 3 major credit companies, credit reporting company, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can send them a letter. In fact, you can call them and you can lock down your credit so you can't take out any new credit. So you can't even open up. If you want to go buy a car and you want to buy it on credit, you have to call them and tell them that that's what you're doing, and they'll open up your credit, which is not a bad thing. Car purchase is rather big purchase, and you can do that. And then as soon as you buy it, then you can lock it right back down. So people are not taking out credit in your name. Important things: don't accept calls from numbers you don't know. My grandmother got scammed this way, out of literally thousands and thousands of dollars. And don't ever, if you do pick up the phone, don't ever give them any information. Yeah, I'm calling you. Mr. Trainer, I'm calling you to confirm your Social Security number. Well, good for you. Can you tell me what it is? Don't confirm your name, your address, your phone number, and I don't care if they've got it right on the phone and they're looking at it. Don't confirm anything. If you don't know who it is, don't confirm it. Now here's the fun one. You probably have all been getting this. Now you'll get emails and you'll get text messages that Netflix and Amazon, your Amazon account has now been canceled. Please click on this link to go ahead and check your account. You know, they get people every single day. That scam works. I don't care what you say. You can say I'm not going to fall for it, but every single day somebody falls for it. And they've gotten smart, and now they've put it on they'll send you, well, now how do you know that I even have Netflix? And they'll expand it to a number of different sources. Amazon, Netflix are probably the most popular ones that they use. They also have the U.S. Postal Service has been unable to deliver a package to you. Please click on this link to confirm when you're going to be home. So we could talk for hours in regards to all the scams. The idea is there's a lot of scams. And it's impossible to cover them all. So don't click on unknown emails. Don't click on text messages. Just delete them off your phone. Delete them out of your account. And you should have a pretty good junk filter or spam filter. Once you deny that email address enough, it automatically goes to junk. We talked about account suspension or deletion. Review your credit card and bank statements closely. I found mine by reviewing my bank statement. It was a small charge on my credit card, and then it was a small charge on my ATM card. I don't ever use my ATM card for purchases. So, when I talked to them, I told them that, and they said, no, it's actually a really good bank. I won't identify them, but they've done a really nice job for me over the years, and I really appreciate everything they've done, but information has gotten out, and they'll get hacked. Report any suspicious charges to your credit card company. Open an investigation. One time, mine happened to be previously an ATM card. My wife had used it at a hotel to get money. Now, this has been over 14 years ago. She used an ATM card because the company was doing an employee appreciation and they were raising money and she didn't have it, so she used the ATM card in the hotel to get $100, to give $100. $20,000 later. Now, fortunately, we could prove that we weren't in that particular area, but we were scammed, and you will be too. So be very, very careful. Never pay over the phone. If you don't know who it is, you haven't done it, it's not maybe a fence company that you did business with, I'm only using that as an example, don't ever pay over the phone. And if you're going to pay via internet, you all know that in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, if you don't see that lock, don't pay through that. It's not a secure. In fact, you can go ahead and click on that. It'll tell you whether it's a secure site or not. So it happens to all of us. It's not a case where it's not going to happen to you. Please don't think that. Just if it does, respond quickly. Now, I wish I could go through with all the scams, but again, make sure you check your bank statements and your credit cards closely. Identify charges that you've had. Amazon charges are just pretty generic, and so you have to know that you've made those charges. Coffee with Elvira Wolford, who's our Director of Human Resources, will be here in August. Mitch will be in September, and Shannon will do the life care contract in October. I strongly recommend you come and you listen to at least the life care contract one. Everybody. So even if you're at home now, come out so you can ask questions. There are a lot of things in that contract, and I hear this all the time. We just signed it. We signed it. We thought it was a great idea. We signed it, and I didn't know that was in my contract. She will go through it, and she'll go through it in detail with you in regards to what your obligations are, what our obligations are, and how we view those. Protocol, you should know this by now, and I think I have some really, really good news to be able to share next month at our chat in regards to safety protocols. But again, common sense, if you see something, say something. And if there's a stranger at your door, you don't recognize them, call security. Don't leave keys laying around, and please lock your door. When you leave and when you're in there, lock your door. And I'm doing this out of an abundance of caution because we just had a couple of staff members come down with COVID for the 5th time. So, if you're not feeling well, please stay home. Please stay home. Questions?
Yeah, turn it on. Do you have questions?
They're coming around with a microphone.
It is. Oh. We had a question about the Fountain Lake not being in use, but you mentioned that it was working again.
It is.
So are they going to be turning it on?
It is on.
Okay.
The whole thing was they got all the parts, but then one of the parts didn't work correctly, so they had to reorder it. It came in on Friday. And Mark said, oh yeah, I'll get it done by September 1. Mark, really? So he got it done in 2 days. So it's working. Next.
On the scam, I've been getting phone calls that say, can you hear me? Be sure you do not say yes, because they can take that out of context. So say, I don't hear you, or I don't want to hear you, and you hang up. But just don't say yes, can you hear me? Because I've heard a lot of it, not just me, that they take it out of context and then give you a problem.
Point.
Two questions. What's happening with the Valencia Landing pool, the lamp pool? It's closed.
Oh, the pool's, okay, let me answer them one at a time. The pool was dispensing more chemicals than it should have been dispensing. Because we have the gentleman come every morning
Yeah.
and he checks it, and it was dispensing more chemicals than it should. So out of an abundance of caution, we shut it down until they can get that fixed.
Any idea when it will be fixed?
I don't have an update yet.
Okay, when do you expect to rope off the third lamp lane from the rest of the pool?
Probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Couple of weeks.
Bless you. We had a couple of questions that came in by text message, and Stan answered them, but I wanted to repeat the answer. When we close down SH Cranes and we go to the other dining venues, the question came in about doing takeout from Valencia and from Bay, and he said yes, takeout would be available. And then also there was a question about reservations still being required for Valencia landing during that time frame, and he said reservations were preferred.
Okay.
As far as the drainage goes on the lake here, do you have any idea when because I try to walk around the lake frequently, and the southeast end is, I can walk across there, but I can't walk on water. Do you know when this might be done? I know you mentioned something about the pond up by the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea when this might be fixed?
That I don't know. I don't know when that water will be going down. We're currently pumping water, and just to kind of let you know, we started pumping water a few weeks ago. We're currently pumping water out of the lake. We use a 2-inch line to pump that water. So if I understand Mark, I think it's somewhere between 75 and 100 gallons per minute is what that will pump out of there. And so it's kind of, once we get rain, it's going to fill up. Now, to that point, we also know that there is a water drain line that had collapsed. And I share this because we're going to be doing this. It's 355-foot line that is collapsed, and it's a 15-inch, 18 inches, 15 on the internal diameter, corrugated pipe that is a project to get that relined. So that will help with our drainage to get things back to the lake where we want them, but they're going to go back to the lake. I anticipate that approval just came down, and I'm going to guess a couple of weeks before that gets done, and that might complicate things because now water will flow even more freely to the lake. So we don't have a time frame to get that water off that sidewalk. I don't know when that's going to happen. And that's all dependent upon Mother Nature, because we are double digits above rainfall of what we were this time last year.
Do we have any information on a plan for a vaccine for the latest COVID variant?
There was a booster clinic, and I would have to get with Nicole to see when she's going to offer it again. I know she was pretty happy with the number of people, and she thought Nicole is the one tracks that. So if you're wanting that latest booster and you didn't get it, because I think there's a time frame between boosters, please contact Nicole. Send her an email or contact her by phone. Yes, sir.
Joe, I know that there are plans to move the guardhouse, the north guardhouse.
Mm-hmm.
When is that going to happen? Do you know?
We hope to start that within the next 30 to 45 days.
Good. Excellent.
Now, with that guardhouse, as you come in, we will be expanding Trafford Avenue, so you can come in on the right side. When you come in, there'll be like 2 lanes, and when you're leaving, there won't be 2 lanes, but it'll be in kind of 1.5 times a regular lane for traffic to pass easily, because remember, that's buttoned up against the sports complex on that right-hand side when you leave. And along with that guardhouse, we're trying to finish our plans for expanding the sidewalk down Trafford. Why I want to say that would be 60 days, that I don't know as of yet, because there's some planning that needs to be done, because there's elevation changes, and then there is a significant amount of, right now, block work to hold the landscape in place. Okay?
I have one last question.
Yes.
On this television survey that we're going to be doing, preferred method is online, of course, but for those that need to take a paper survey, where can they pick it up and where do they turn it back into?
Again, if you're going to do a paper survey, check the Village Weekly. There should be one in the Village Weekly, or pick one up at administration. Administration, Tina, she's back. Tina will have a survey for you, because she wants to be able to track who she's handing them out to make sure that she knows if we send out 50 surveys, we're getting 50 back. Fair enough? One last question.
If you have just one TV, do you still need to tell you what year it was manufactured?
That is a great question. If you just have one TV, I still want you to complete the survey and then say no secondary TVs, 0. And then cut it loose and send it to us. I do want a survey from everybody, even if you don't have any additional TVs. Uh-oh, now I've confused somebody.
I want to know if you have spectrum, if you have to do that too.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, with that said, thank you for coming. You have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.